Hey everyone, welcome back to another music production live stream with me, Human Synthetics. Hey KD. So this is my first live stream in my new flat, in a new space. So hopefully everything will work. I guess this is a bit of a test, but it looks like everything's holding up okay. Probably take a bit of adjusting, you know. I've got a door slightly in shot, but I think we can all live with that. It looks like multi-streaming is holding up alright as well, so that's pretty good. So this evening I'm going to be rehearsing my live set for More Kicks Than Friends on the 16th of May in London with Ned Rush and all the kind of Ned Rush, More Kicks Than Friends UK artists that you might have seen on any More Kicks Than Friends on Ned's channel. So yeah, I certainly know how to kind of like squeeze my schedule because I've got like a couple of weeks, just over 2 weeks to kind of prepare for it. I've got my live set loaded here. We're going to add some new sections to it. Going to have a review. I've made some notes. I'll jump into that in a bit as to what I want to tackle with it. And really it's just going to be a case of rehearsing it. So hopefully if I switch this over, you should be able to see I've got my controllers here. There's the door. But yeah, I've got my APC. I've got my Nano Control Studio, which I don't usually have out on the desk actually. But hey, Beat Specific, good to see you. Yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing this evening. If you want tickets, I'll see if I can just drop this in the chat actually, but so I can pin it. If you're in the UK and you fancy coming along in 2 weeks, just over 2 weeks, South London. Just visit morekicksandfriends.com. You can get tickets and you can find out more about all the artists. So this is the second More Kicks Than Friends in real life that I've been part of. There was another one in Brighton that I couldn't do, but I did the first one, the inaugural one in Cardiff. So yeah, this should be really fun. Yeah, Ned is a brilliant, you know, I learned everything I know from Ned really. As I'm sure a lot of people who watch my stuff, you know, did as well, or have learned a lot from him too. And yeah, it's always just the best time, like hanging out and doing these gigs together. So I can't wait really. Just wish I hadn't had to move in between it, you know. I think not having enough time is a good thing sometimes because you can just have too much time and you get complacent. So it really kind of forces you to focus and do only what's necessary. So yeah, that's what we'll be doing this evening. Before I do that, I just want to give a shout out to my patrons and shout out some of my newest members on Patreon, newest pledgers there. So got my good friend Chris Johnson, thanks very much for the Patron Plus on Patreon. Alea Brando, thanks so much for your support on Patreon. Mwenzi Mwens, I think that's how, I hope that pronunciation is right, but thanks very much for your support on Patreon. Got David Henson, I think we're back to where we left off now. Randall Twig, Macaulay Bignall, Marcus Uru, Music Lover 867. Patreon like switched up there when they kind of charge people. So like when you sign up, if you stay for more than a month, you get your subscription comes out at the point that you signed up. It didn't used to be like that. It was like the same time every month, and I think it messes with like the credits as to the names I can see, because there were some people that are active but weren't showing up in like my active patrons. So if you're not on the list and you're expecting to see yourself, let me know. But yeah, thanks everyone who supports me on there. If you're interested in all that stuff, links are in the description wherever you're watching this. So most recent posts I've shared on there have been for my sample pack with Grooving in G, which I've got open here. Echoes of Light, which was our collaborative sample pack. So yeah, if you're interested in grabbing that, you can head over to groovingbiz.co.uk, and there is still the Easter sale on George's website. But that was a lot of fun putting that together, and there's going to be more stuff to come. I'm probably going to be using some of the samples from the pack this evening, adding them into the set. So hey Future World Machines, hey Q-Bird. I am a little bit earlier than scheduled as well, just because I was just too nervous doing this in the new space, so I just wanted to get cracking, really. Hey Distant Lands. Cool, alright. Yeah, you can head to groovingbiz.co.uk and pick the pack up if you're interested. There's lots of free stuff I shared on it though when I was working on it on Patreon, so alright. Might have to adjust lighting and all that kind of stuff. I've got like a different light here now. Might just do that now. Might be a bit too bright, but we'll see. I think that's okay. Alright, so yeah, this is my live set. This is the set I'll be performing with, and I have, if you've watched any of my live performances on YouTube or like the Sigil Radio one I did, this is the actual set that I am using. And it's one that's been built up over the years now. I think it's probably like 2 or 3 years old. I've been kind of adding to it and changing it. I don't think I've actually done a fresh project, if you like. It is still the original set that I started with back in like 2021 or something, 2020 maybe. So like all the earlier sections in it contain a lot of the original loops that I made when I decided to have a crack at making like a live jungle set, a live D&B breakbeat thing. Just stop this for now. But so yeah, the way it's food for the gods, yeah. That's good. That's good. I've got like one of those Logitech key lights. It's actually my girlfriend's, but she uses it for streaming as well. And it's pretty good. It's like a tiny one. I had my big camera lights up before, and they took over the room a bit, and they were probably a bit unnecessary, and the light wasn't even that great from them. So it was a bit like off, because I reflected it up at the walls, so it kind of just made everything look a bit too bright. It would be nice to have like a backlight here, but anyway, it's a work in progress. I only kind of got this all set up on Sunday, so yeah, let's talk a bit about the set then, because I'll just break down how it's like put together. I've done this before. I've definitely done this before on stream, but obviously, like, my understanding and thinking about it changes and has changed over the years. But essentially, it's like broken down into sections that fit with my APC Mini controller, and this is really all I use. This and this Nano Control Studio, which my cousin gave to me like randomly, probably about, I don't know, 8 years ago, if not longer. I don't think he knew what to do with it, so he posted it to me, and I was like, I'll figure out something to do with it. We'll get into the controllers in a bit, but everything is done to work in an 8x8 kind of grid, essentially, so that I'm never really having to look further away than control. I didn't want to be looking at a screen when I was performing. I wanted it to be about me really just focusing on the music and almost playing Ableton, if you like. and performing with it, rather than just like worrying about what things I had to trigger in here or having to look outside of the 8x8 grid. I wanted something that was just like, you know, hey Daniel, I wanted something that was just going to be completely visible and that I could essentially, when I'd jammed with one section, we'll come on to the sections in a sec, but when I jammed with one section, I could scroll through onto the next, yeah? And you can see where the red line is moving. That's where the controller's focused. And these have just got kind of loose titles for things, you know, to prompt me when I'm looking at it, so I can just like, in the heat of the moment, because it always is the heat of the moment when you're performing, you know, people have been drinking or whatever, or having a good time, and then you've got to get up there and like, you're like, God, where do I start? You know, you've got no idea. I can have a quick look. I've got these prompts, and they're kind of rated A and B. I don't know if there are any C's, but yeah, they're rated to like as to how banging they are, or the kind of things that I can pull out with them. But everything is, there's like, the structure is very loose to allow me to improvise and kind of respond in the moment, because sometimes I just happen upon something that's like really working with a few little clips, and I'll decide to kind of continue it or expand it. So I don't really want to be like, don't want it to be too rigid, so I can't break out if I need to. So sometimes I like think about doing it again from the beginning, like starting again from scratch. But actually, kind of the fact it's a bit chaotic, and every time it's still a bit not rusty, but almost like Heath Robinson, you could say. That kind of adds to it, really, because it forces me to be a bit more inventive when I'm playing live with it. And that kind of, the edge adds to it, I think. But yeah, so it's all kind of separated up into these modular sections. All of the loops largely are things I've made myself over the years. And occasionally I'll add in stuff from sample packs. That's what we'll be doing this evening. Or I'll record things or create things specifically for it if I think something's missing. So, but essentially that's how it's laid out, you know, and really all I use are these controllers with the faders and some more MIDI mapping over here, which maybe we'll get into in a sec. Essentially it's controlling a lot of like Ned effects devices or beat repeats or filters or sends on here. This is like the mixing desk, like controls, and with the faders here, and then everything is being triggered on here. There's a bit more stuff going on in the clips in some of them. And a lot of my time is spent gain staging and making sure things aren't too loud, and that things are in key. You know, I'll often be like moving things around pitch-wise and stuff. But really, that's kind of a quick overview of everything. There is some master bus processing. I've got Soothe on here, some Ned effects, just an EQ, glue compressor, limiter, and then beat repeats after the limiter, which I'm not sure why I did that, but that's where they are. And that really is it. There is one return channel, which is just a reverb and an echo. I imagine it's, yeah, just Ableton Stock. I try and keep everything Ableton Stock because I don't really want to overload it with too many plugins. Although the M1s are pretty rock solid with everything, really. Thanks, Hal. So the controllers are... Let me just catch up. Yes, I have thought about the APC Mark II, and I would like the color coding would be really good, I think, but I guess I'm just used to this one now. I've actually got... One sec. Yeah, I've actually got an APC, the Key 25 as well, which I might like to incorporate at some point, but I won't do now because that would need a bit more like experimentation and stuff, and really now I've got like a limited period of rehearsal time, so I'm just going to work with the framework as it is, with the performance framework. I have seen the RGB buttons. I think they would be really good because I'm often, if I do have to glance at the computer screen on my laptop, then it does often make me, you know, it can be a bit confusing. I probably should get it. Yeah, APC Mini, Akai, Korg Nano Control Studio. which is obviously meant to be like some kind of mixing thing, but I don't use it like that. It's just completely custom mapped, this one. Yeah, so the APC Mini 1 doesn't have color-coded buttons, but that's why I leave gaps. That's why you see gaps. That's my like visual cue, is that I can look up at the laptop and know. It's a bit like looking at a guitar fretboard or something. Yeah? Okay. But yeah, really that's like the framework for it. And I like to keep things simple and a bit fast and loose because it's improvisational. Everything is just improvised. The sections have some flow to them, and I know certain bits I can jump to when I need to. But it wouldn't be a live performance if there was a bit of push and pull, a bit of friction, and a bit of like, it's not meant to be completely seamless. I kind of want people to know that I am improvising, but so I'm quite happy if there's some bits where it meanders a bit, that's okay. I can live with that. And what's quite good is that sometimes when I go back into rehearsing with it, I've forgotten what the sections are, and like I discover things new, and it's just a bit like jamming, really. But I think now what we're going to do is going to add some more sections, right? We've got 24 sections at the moment. We'll try and add a few more, and this is what I do every time. Just build it up layer on layer, get rid of the stuff that isn't working, add new stuff with the kind of new sounds and new vibes I've been experimenting with in like production generally. So yeah, I think we can come back to the notes now. There's been enough talk for now. But this is what I was doing early this morning, so it does take a while to scroll through with the controller. Yeah. But everything is audio, nothing's MIDI. There's these couple of extra channels here I've just been making stuff this morning. And that's often what I do, is like I just make stuff in this and then create the samples and maybe save them elsewhere, maybe not. Depends how organised I am feeling. But yeah, let's just see what the levels are like now. So you can see it bits like that where I kind of like miss the cue, which is the whole point of like rehearsing it. Another thing that makes a difference, if you're playing for like a really long time, like an hour, then you kind of need to do at rehearsal slots that are like an hour long, which is what I kind of build up to. But this already feels like, you can see this, like we've got like a modular section here. But like, for instance, that vocal's a bit loud. Warping obviously makes a difference as well, and like something like this Dream Roads loop, I'll use tones for something like this. It's quite a distinct tone. So if I change the tempo of the set or something, it would follow, and it's a bit loud as well with everything else. The mix as well can be a bit all over the place. Like, it's certainly not how I'd like mix something down for a release, but again, it's kind of like the live spirit, I think, is enough to carry it, especially when you've got it over a loud sound system. It sounds pretty good. I certainly will record my set. Yeah, thanks, Hal. So it's one 8x8 clip section per track. Yeah. Yes, no, you're spot on. That is it. Real track, as in, so often, like, here we could, I feel, because there's all these, like, bass parts that I'm using, I'll show you, like, we'll just have, like, the bass and the breaks. This is one thing I didn't say it was actually on the channels, but you've got 2 channels of breaks, 1 of bass, pads, melodics. These stubs are, like, reverse cymbals. And they help me like carry the cues and stuff when I'm playing live. So you'll hear what they do. So it'll like mark 8 bars for me. You'll hear it coming back in. And it just loops round doing that again and again. And it adds like some momentum. But effects, vocals, and everything, fits in these 8x8 sections essentially, which is more than enough for you to like mess around with like a track idea, if you like. And sometimes these sections have like two things in, but because we've got all these like call and response bass parts. And these clips actually have like automation in them, so you'll see they're like firing off to the sends. I'll try and do it again. It's quite like a focused thing to commit. So you can hear like there's kind of filtering coming in on these. I know it's probably quite difficult for you to see like the knobs that are on these, but essentially it's like eight mappable channels, and I use these switches as well, almost like momentary switches, so I can fire off stuff to it. I'll just show you, like, so I can they're mapped essentially to the sends, yeah? So it can fire off to just the single return channel we have. But because those basses are a bit all-consuming, like right now, I'm probably thinking we can add some more breaks in here. So I'll go to the Echoes of Light pack. New sample pack. I've already got one of these Marvin's Hard Dragons in. This could be another good like step in one. So just check, like I always set the breaks to like repitch. So if I slowed the tempo of the set down, I'll probably sound a bit crazy, but that bass just like falls apart. And just I'm looking for the breaks to be gain stage, so the RMS is around -18, like the solid, the brighter green line. Tight, that sounds good. So I'm just, I guess these are around -24, these ones there. This is a bit loud, this one. Yo, Ned. Clips quantized to play every bar. Yeah, no, that's a very good point, Future World Machines. Because so it's like if I play it 3, 4, 2, 3, 3, 4, 2, 1, 2, 2. So I know that I can switch here, 1, 2. So like any finer the one bar, and I would start to lose the timing, because then you're being like, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. If it was 4, like every 4 bars, it would just be a bit too long. So 1 bar is enough for me. One thing I compare it to, like when I used to be in bands, or when I used to play as a guitarist in bands, was that you would come up to these sections. If you had a lot of guitar pedals, you had to kind of switch them all off. Ned Rush will know what I'm talking about. You had to switch them all off, or change all the pedals within the space of about a bar often, or like you had to time it. You have to time the pedal switches. So that this feels a bit like that to me. I kind of I do everything in time, like when it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Three, four, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, that kind of thing. That's kind of how I've just always got the I've always got the kind of metronome going in my mind. So yeah, but let's keep adding some. So that break's pretty tasty. The breaks I'm always kind of like tweaking the volume a bit here. And I would just use these, like lift them completely. But I might save that one. It's quite it's quite rolling. I'd probably save that for another section. So like the sections can be a bit chaotic in that, like I'll sketch something out, leave it, and then the next time I rehearse with it, I'll add more stuff into it. I think this could do with some more effects, some more vocals, and maybe some different melodic parts. This one here. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, we could do this slight stepping thing. So I'll often like make all of the breaks legato as well, so that when I switch between them, they carry on at the point of switching. So if they switch on like the third bar in the loop, then it will start from the third bar in the next loop that I switch to. Bit loud. What we got this one set to? -7.7. So a lot of this is like getting volumes working together. I've also got like a kill switch on this on here that kills the breaks in the bass, the main break and the bass line. Just like a flanger, like kind of multi-effects mapping here. So those might be kind of drops that I kind of rehearse working on, but it's that's one thing I'd love for it to be like proper hard hitting in that way. It'd probably sound great on like a loud system though. But yeah, this like flanger. maybe we could have like a rolling 808 thing here, might be quite cool. I don't know if I've got... Be nice to just have like a rolling 808. So I made like on Patreon make your own ambient jungle live set video course. I wanted to make like an edited video of it, but I ended up recording about like 14 hours. So but I also created a load of loops. Some were pretty decent actually. Like, something like that might work. I mean, it very much is like in the kind of old school classic ambient jungle vibe vein. I think these are G minor, so I think the key that I'm working in for this section is F minor. You know, how do I put that? I think we could call this like Canada 3 AM or something. It's quite like it's quite techy, isn't it? I wouldn't call it tech step, it's not that tech steppy, but we just need to drop this down 2 semitones. Well, we could definitely add in some... One thing I haven't done is like air traffic control stuff. Let's do like the UFO sighting, should we? So for this I might actually warp it, right, and just have it on complex and just turn off the... I often do like clip automation in the clip itself, so I'm just going to turn off the send that's here, right, because otherwise it's just too much. These sparky objects. So some breaks definitely need to be a bit louder than others. I think that's okay. I am going to make this a different color, just whatever. And we will turn off warping. Actually, no, we don't want to do that yet. I want this to be legato. This 808 loop. Got too many hot pants here. What else we got? I'm saving this. Let's start a new section now as well. So we're up to like 25. Just make this. I don't know. I'm running out of colours really. This colour? I feel like I've got this colour a lot. Nope. These are all breaks of mine, but some are better than others. Bit choppy, aren't they? Let's get some pads. George made some awesome pads for this. Echoes of light. Hey, whole shot. That's quite good, isn't it? We could use that as like a pad. That's quite nice, isn't it? Just these I'll often have just like with loop off because I don't want it to be looping. It's just almost like it's like a trigger pad or something, you know. Click down. Oh, Ned Effects. Yeah, Ned Effects is all over this. Not sure if these the most up-to-date version. Ned, probably not. So we've got Ned Effects on like the master, Lucky Cut and Lucky Repeat. We've also got Lucky Roll and I'm not sure. How am I doing these? I think it might be like a button. Yeah, okay, they're buttons that happen on. Okay. That's nice. Want some? Let's see if we've got any more bass loops. I've used this so much. I still use some of the original loops that I like made when I first did this set. Sorry if you can't hear these. could be interesting. Oh, not repitch tones for this. Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it? I feel like some darker sections are okay. Maybe we could get some like moody pads and that. That's great, isn't it? Just as a pad. Yeah, I love that. That's pretty cool, isn't it? That's one of George's samples. Sounds great. George does the best pads, I reckon. Let's loop that, shall we? Just like put it at this irregular loop point. So this, I spend a lot of time like faffing around in the clips and using just like clip looping like this. Or also just like mad pitching stuff up as well. So I might just turn warp up on this one and we pitch this up. But it's a bit too similar. I could do like some spoken word thing or some vocal sample. Yo, Jason. Animus. Some halftime would be a good shout, actually. So like one thing I'll sometimes do is like just mess around with like the clip audio warping. Nice, that's pretty sick actually, isn't it? Or like we could do some time stretching stuff. A bit. Might just have these as like legato as well. We'll have them all as legato. Ain't got any amens yet, but We need some good spoken word stuff. I don't like trying to sample stuff on stream because it is just a nightmare and I always get copyright struck, which is like fine sometimes, but also it's nice if I can actually just leave these up and not have to worry about that. Yeah, I'm just looking through these. Some Waterworld samples.
No. Stop!
Pretty nice, isn't it? Come on, we should try and do something with that, shall we? Maybe we could have that in like the melodics. I think that's okay. Hope no one gets hit for that. Yeah, I like it. Waterworld, the film Waterworld, Kevin Costner. That's great, isn't it? That's when he gets locked up in a cage by the smokers. Yeah, cool. So we got like, let's call this one Waterworld. Waterworld techie, isn't it? Now a key pivot point in this is definitely this Deep Forest. Yeah, I remember going to Orlando as a kid and seeing the Waterworld boat. I loved it as a kid. I thought it was brilliant, that film. And then we're doing live set rehearsal this evening. So I'm literally just mining my samples for stuff. I wouldn't mind like just a vocal. Something spoken wordy. This is when you need to have like dedicated sampling sessions to like find audio, like vocals samples and that kind of thing. I have to be careful what I'm... Oh.
Things didn't get off to a great start.
Okay, we'll jump to...
You said it yourself once.
Okay, this could be... I've used this in a tune, but it's fine.
You said it yourself. You said it yourself once. A dream question. You said it yourself once. You said that a dream is an answer to a
I've used that already.
Jammy a dub specialist, but scientists are dub chemists.
Generally, our explanations are guesses. These vague hypotheticals become fixed in our mind as fact. We are interpretation machines, and this process of labeling...
Why not?
Generally...
Rick Rubin talking about music probably.
Generally, our explanations are guesses. These vague hypotheticals become fixed in our mind as fact. We are interpretation machines, and this process of labeling and detaching is efficient, but not accurate.
You said it yourself once. You said that a dream is an answer to a question.
I think we need some more breaks in this. We can definitely have hot pants in this section. These are too hectic. Just want some thinks. I think that next week I'm going to mine some of my current works in progress and put some stuff in from those. I'm just looking for like sample hi-hat loops or something like that. Man, okay. This type of thing. But these are probably rubbish. That might be fine. Don't know why that's...
You said it yourself.
Do this.
You said it yourself. You said that a dream is the answer to
Bit time stretching. Mr. Q. I think with like 808 loops, a lot of the time, you know, the timbre itself doesn't matter too much. Drop the pitch down. Something stepping like this would be fine. Why is that? That sounds ridiculous. The bass might need a bit more work on that section, I reckon. Maybe we could bring this in as like a... Not this loop. This will be just like a call and response type thing. So we'll have this main loop and then it could switch over to the second one occasionally. So there's a lot of kind of like futzing with stuff like this. It's a bit of a fiddy process sometimes.
Generally, our explanations are guesses. These vague hypotheticals become fixed in our mind as fact. We are interpretation machines. This process of labeling and detaching is efficient, but not accurate. We are the unreliable narrators of our own experience.
Not into that fat backs too much. What else we got on these breaks? This is always a good one. Tiny. Yeah, let's... Cool. Ned Rush, I should do that, shouldn't I? I should do like just a special live set and put it on there, or send it. Did you have a mix on there? Thanks, Benjamin. Thanks for the kind words. Right, okay, that's pretty good, isn't it? We've got like some loose frameworks of stuff there. Like we've got all the elements, haven't we? We've got like cymbals. We've got some moody samples. Certainly enough to like jam out some stuff with. Did I make that? That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? I like what Benjamin suggests about half-timing things. You know, you could do some like nice little automation things of this as well, like one. You could just like stop it on this. Another thing I do a lot is like clip automation. So go on clip, gain, and like after this kick here in the break, in the hot pants break, we'll also do some automation with like the mix here, and we'll just send this to the return effect.
These vague hypotheticals become fixed in our mind as fact.
Basildon puke plates. Hey Faust, thanks a lot. Cheers, appreciate that. I could see you, Joe Watt. I could definitely recommend Groovin' in G's channel, Faust, as well. Very much, KD. Appreciate it. You're too kind, chap. Thank you. So you can hear like the difference between the breaks in those two sections. Actually, something to be aware of. We hear that cymbal come in. Just got to be careful with the little drops and stuff. But it can be quite good practice actually when stuff goes wrong to just keep going, because that's what happens when you're doing it live. You know, you can't stop it. That'd be a nice little like fill thing here, you know, just like turn off loop. And another thing I do a lot is like follow actions and just have like play again, play after like four beats, because I think is that right? Just get this right. Yeah. So maybe even like 6 or something, but it's gonna it's on warped. It is warped, sorry, because I've pitched it up and kept the timing the same. But then it will rather than just like playing through, another way you could do that is with like clip automation, but I don't do that. I just like use the follow actions and like play again and then set the number of measures to how often I want it to repeat. Sweet. Okay, that sounds pretty good. I mean, I certainly think there's enough in both of these sections I can certainly improvise with. Ned, as you're on, how long am I playing for? How long is my set on? I was envisaging like 45 minutes, an hour. Great, perfect, cool. I can easily do that then. I can just play the bangers then. That's great. Yeah, no, that's fine. If you sent it, forgive me. It's been I was moving last week, so all my stuff, like everything's just been consumed, bulldozed by the move. I'm tempted to, like, I guess, as we're all like jungle fans, breakbeat fans, breakcore fans, there is the temptation to add in amens and stuff, but there's definitely enough amens in the rest of this set, so I just don't feel the need to do that. Right, I'm going to save this. So usually what I do at this point now is I'm just going to have we'll do some rehearsal now, yeah? No filler, all killer, yeah. One sec. I do have a bit of a shadow behind me, which I don't like. That's okay. We can live with that, can't we? It just looks like... Turn that down again. It's a bit dark now. Right, okay. I'm just going to go for it now. We're going to try and do... We could try and do a half an hour rehearsal, maybe. I'll only stop if I need to, like, mess around with stuff or, like, just check in on the chat. So if you do have any questions, like, do shout. I'll do my best to, like, dive in. So my process is usually at this point. Actually, let's just recap a little bit. I can show you my notes. There we go. So we know that we've got 30 minutes to full, which is going to be more. I'll have more than enough stuff for that, so it's great. But it doesn't like. It's kind of fun every time I have a gig to just like revisit the set and like soup it up a bit more. And you know, it's a living thing, really. I think of it as it's almost a bit like, you know, if you play an instrument or you're a DJ or whatever. Every time you do a gig or something, you know, sometimes you have some real breakthroughs, and other times it can be quite painful actually, and not very pleasant. But that's kind of the part and parcel of playing live, and being like a live performer. Same for DJing and stuff like that. You know, you have good gigs, you have bad gigs. But what was my point going to be? I guess that you kind of level up each time, and there's new things that you gain from doing it each time, and it's incremental. It's incremental, yeah, right. Rather than something that you like, you know, it's iterative and incremental. You add a little bit, you change a little bit. Next time you do it, that it's been improved slightly. Keep improving it. It's iterations of versions essentially. But how long you're playing for makes a difference, because if you've got loads of material in there and it's improvisational and you've just got loads of these loops, you're gonna want to know where your good stuff is. So and with 30 minutes you can just like bang 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 bang. It can just be banging, like from maybe a little bit of a ramp up and a little bit down in the middle, but you can just go hard. So yeah, we've done some adding in some sections with the Echoes of Light sample pack. Next week I think what I'll do is I'll mine some of my current works in progress for breaks and other cool sounds, just to show you the process. Because even though I probably won't add to this set too much more, it can be useful if you've got your own tracks and you're thinking of doing a live set. It's useful to see how, like, maybe it's useful to see how other people get them out and deal with like making the sections of the song into something usable you could break down to a live performance, because it's not as straightforward as you might, you know, unless you just want to press play. But I don't really want to do that. So something I'm like that I'm going towards, I think, is like having something a bit more modern, two-steppy, no nonsense, like kind of dark and rolling. I don't have too much of that in it, because the temptation is always when you're performing live to just change things. So letting something roll out, you know, can be a bit, because you're always bashing the controllers and stuff and like wanting to add things in. Color coding, that's interesting. I think just like going through and color coding any bits that really stood out that I'd forgotten about. Adding some more bass loops would be good. Maybe you can cover that next week. Some power moves here. I guess I was talking about the thing that I did just now with like automation on snippets of the break, and that can be really powerful rather than just like stopping loops or putting the volume down or something. But that was a really good shout out to go like half time on some of the breaks just by using the warping built in in the clips. Gain staging and volume checking, that's always like a fine tuning process. And just seeing how my effects chains work on the APC Mini, in the Nano Control. Animus, thanks as well for your note about the stretch thing. I'll have a look. I think that's for like Raw 2, isn't it? Or the updated version in the latest version of Ableton. Yeah, Raw is good. I still need to. I've been on a bit of a serum tip recently. That's kind of the thing that I've been like playing with when I'm not making music and stuff. Even though I don't think I'd use a lot of the timbres I coax from it in my tunes, but I feel that like, yeah, there's no time wasted in that respect. But that's what we've been doing anyway. And that's some of my thinking behind these things. There are definitely some bits in this set that I'm not into, but Should we go? Should we do like a run? See how long we can go for? You know, so I might start it with a pad or something like that. I probably wouldn't ever start with this section. It's a B section. We'll maybe rate them next week, A or B, tier them.
As we do it without it, we could still do a good, entertaining musical show, I suppose, without it. But all those things are down to how you control them, and whether you're controlling them, and not the other way around. It's just a question of using the tools that are available.
This is a sample, so. But I just love it, it's great. It's from a Saint Etienne track.
because the emotion is in the silence. Because the emotion is in the silence.
Yeah, there we go. I think that's pretty decent, wasn't it? Thanks all for the kind words. Yeah, KD, that's a good shout. I'll tell you what, like, you know, it's I've played like iterations of this set. Like Ned will have, if Ned is still, I think Ned is still on, but Ned has seen this set in iterations, but there are additions to it, and I doubt. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks all. That was just kind of a run through as well, really, like all improvised. So I think that's not bad, is it? I think we can easily fill half an hour. I'll probably just have to be quicker than that. Because there are definitely more banging sections. Sometimes you can't have it too rapid fire though, or you're gonna like you just don't have enough time to let the ideas breathe. But yeah. So what was I saying? So yeah. I think we'll have more than enough stuff in this. Yeah, I've lost my train of thought again. I am always surprised how well it like comes off on the dance floor. That's what I was going to say. I've played this like a few times now with this set, probably into double figures at least, and done this kind of live jungle thing. It really just started off as an experiment at first to see if I could actually do it, and the first gig was a bit, you know, it had its moments, but the night that I was on at, they decided to like put me on later next time, and then after that I was just playing like midnight, 1 o'clock. So everyone was, well, you know, it was as busy as it was going to get, and people were definitely in the mood to dance. And it's always surprised me that like I've sustained a dance floor with it, because like it's obviously not like when a DJ plays like a modern mixed D&B tune or something, or a modern mixed jungle tune. But it works, and I think people enjoy it. And if there's an MC, you can like really riff with it. It's good fun. It's really good fun. Thanks very much, Animus. But yeah, I think next week what we'll do is not yet. I need to do that. You mean like what's his name? Dom, the DJ, the bike DJ, the drum and bass DJ. I should just take a PA and go into the middle of Birmingham and perform with it, but I'd be worried stuff was going to get stolen, I think. So, cool. But yeah, I will, once this set is like, when I've added in all these new bits and we're done, I'll share the version I record at the gig, I think, and I'll put that on Patreon. And I am actually coming up to getting 5,000 subscribers now, so I'd like to kind of do a little bit of a giveaway and give away some free sounds and stuff. Bins. Well, I've now moved within Birmingham City Council's remit again, and I don't quite know what the bin situation is where I'm at here. I'm in flats now, but I think it might be alright. But I think for a lot of people it's really quite dire. This is really fixing this video in time and space. But I was here for the last one and it was horrendous. Yeah. So I moved from like Samwell Council, which is a different council, even though it's, for all intents and purposes, it's the same city really. But yeah. All right, cool. I think I did about half an hour there, didn't I? At least 20 minutes. How many councils does Birmingham have? So there's Birmingham City Council, and then there is Samwell, and then there's Dudley. But that's the Black Country, really. You start getting out to Black, and kind of the Samwell is more the Black Country as well than Birmingham. It's a bit like it's a bit like Liverpool and the Wirral, and I'm sure London has the same thing. So yeah, I'm now closer to the city than I was. We should do more kicks and friends here, Ned. We should do one in Birmingham. It is the second biggest town. Yeah, the second city. It's hot here at the moment. But I'm pretty warm. Yeah, we should definitely do one in Birmingham. There's loads of good venues. But yeah, cool. I'm going to say goodnight now anyway, because I was quite nervous before doing this, just because it was the first. I was expecting technicals, but I think we've gone without hitch. I think it's been solid as a rock, and I've multi-streamed to Twitch as well. So only Black Country artists. You might upset some people from Birmingham. We could do one in the Black Country for sure. Black Country gets overlooked. For sure, it does. But like, there's well, Goldie was from Wolverhampton, or is from Wolverhampton originally. But I think in some places that's not, or for some people in the Black Country, that's not classed as the Black Country officially. There's also like artists like Actress as well, was from Wolverhampton. Also Samwell District, the techno duo. I think they were from, I don't know, Rowley Regis or somewhere. I think Bristol's pretty good. Last time I went there, it seemed pretty. Oh, what you mean of show in Bristol? The show in Bristol would be cool. We did one in Cardiff. Really, More Kicks and Friends tour would be good. Yeah, that'd be sick. Alright, I'm going to say goodnight now, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. And we'll be more live set next week when we will be mining some stuff from current tunes, I think. Talking about how I like process samples from my own works, my own pieces, my own music. Nice one. Your whist. Hi and bye. Right, see you. Thanks all. See you soon.